Hi, my name is Kristen Jacobson. I am the instructor for this course. So welcome to American Studies 5007, Contemporary America. I want to spend a few moments both to introduce myself and to talk a little bit about the class and how the class is going to work. You'll see that I have the syllabus up here. It will be available in Blackboard once Blackboard is available. And let's see, Tuesday, September 8th, I believe, you'll be able to access all the materials in the course that I'm going to preview today. And so the vital information about myself and the course, how to join the optional Zoom, which I'll talk a little bit more about. In your own time, please do read through the course description, review the required text for the course, and go over some of the course policies. If you need special accommodations, be sure to get in touch with me. If you have preferred pronouns, name, you can see that I put them in my Zoom as part of my name, so you could do that as well. I can just kind of mention here too, it's nice if you can share your video when we have the optional Zoom meetings, but if you can't, maybe your internet connection isn't great or you need to just phone in, you can't use the video connection, that's fine. I'd rather have you here in some capacity than cause technical difficulties. So if you want to add like a photo so that we have a face or an icon, maybe something that represents who you are, you could do that as part of your Zoom identity, so to speak. So there's policies around academic honesty. I have suggestions here in terms of how best to contact me through email. I ask that you use our Blackboard messaging system because that helps make sure that I notice your messages right away. Some expectations about the course. Again, I'll ask that you read through these when the syllabus is available. What I'm going to focus on here are some of the expectations around the assignments and kind of like how our weekly meetings, whether they're synchronous or asynchronous, will go. So there are these basic assignments with, as you can see here, participation, penalty and bonus in it, and then a bonus for completing the weekly writing assignment on time. So there isn't a late penalty per se, although at a certain point, if you haven't submitted it, you'll get a 0. But there are bonuses for submitting certain activities on time. So the period papers are the weekly sort of formal writing that you'll be doing that will synthesize all of the readings. So you'll earn the most points when you've addressed the majority, synthesize that reading in terms of what is it saying, what kind of understanding do we get about contemporary America. At the end of the term, you'll be writing a research paper on contemporary America based on the work that we've done that semester and provide a research presentation. So those are the 3 major assignments. So the weekly work divided over, there are actually 11 opportunities and your lowest score will be dropped from that. So that gives you a little wiggle room for experimentation or maybe just having an off week. So that's 50% or 500 points of your total. Your research presentation is 10% or 100 points. And then the final research paper is 40% of your final grade or 400 points. Now to that, again, participation itself isn't graded, but there are certain things that you'll be doing to participate in the class. And so you can earn a participation bonus, 0 points. In other words, there's some wiggle room there, but you don't earn a bonus, but you don't earn a penalty, or you earn a penalty. So you'll be able to decide each week whether you'll be joining the class synchronously, and our synchronous meetings will be Mondays, 6 to 9 p.m. And if you join our synchronous meetings, what you'll do before class is post a question or a passage, something from the reading that interested you. Like when I read these readings, I saw this sort of common theme and I want to discuss this theme in our discussion this evening. Or maybe you identify a passage and you're like, this passage totally confused me. I don't understand what this author is or this writer is talking about. Can we talk about this in class? So basically, it's fairly informal. You post a passage, a question, a topic, theme, idea that you want to discuss in class, and you post that before 6 p.m. And then you attend class. And we'll use those posts, those discussion prompts, as well as some of my own that I'll have posted to lead our discussion and to talk about the assigned reading. Now, if you can't join, which sometimes happens, right? If you can't join our optional synchronous class on Mondays from 6 to 9, then what you'll do, in addition to the period paper that you'll be writing, you'll look at either my prompt, which are already posted, or you'll see, oh, a student posted something, and you'll write more informal, and it has to be distinct from what you're writing about in your weekly period paper. Response to either their question or prompt or my question or prompt. So that's where the participation penalty and bonus comes in. So if you join all our weekly Zoom sessions, prepare that as you've posted your topic, discussion topic to class before it begins, and you are prepared, you stay in class and we talk about it. If you do that consistently throughout the semester, you'll be eligible for a 50-point bonus or a 5% bump to your final grade. The same would be true is if you did all or some combination of asynchronous participation. You've posted your response to either my prompt or another student's discussion prompt and made that 250 to 500 word response to that question or discussion topic. You do that consistently throughout the semester, you'll earn that bonus. Sometimes it happens, right? Just like you'd have to miss a class or two if we were meeting face-to-face. You can miss or submit late 1 to 2 asynchronous posts, or miss, maybe you thought you were going to attend Zoom, but then something came up, something happened, and so you were unable to attend that Zoom session. You have that 1 to 2 wiggle room there. You're not eligible for the bonus, but you're also not penalized for those 1 to 2 weeks in which you didn't quite get to the participation on time. The penalty comes in is when it exceeds those 2 weeks. So let's say, as the examples, you submit 2 late discussion posts and then attend the next week's Zoom session, but you haven't prepared or posted a discussion question. So that would mean now you've exceeded the limit for the 0 point range. This just gives you a little bit more information about what I've been talking about in terms of your options of either doing synchronous or asynchronous. Every week, though, you have to do one or the other. You do not have to do both. You don't have to post a response of 250 to 500 words and attend the synchronous Zoom session where you've also, and you've also posted your own topic. You don't need to do that. That's overkill. If you wanted to, fabulous, but there's no, like additional points you earn for doing all of it. Most of you, I would assume, will be deciding, particularly with also preparing for your weekly more formal period papers, that you'll decide to either post a discussion question prior to class and then be ready to talk about the reading during our synchronous Zoom session on Monday evening, 6 to 9. Or if you know you won't be able to join for the entire class period on Mondays from 6 to 9, before Monday, you'll have posted your own response to mine or another student's discussion prompt, okay? So just like with participation, if you, there's a bonus possibility for the period papers. As I mentioned, there are 11 total for the weeks where we have assigned reading. And if you complete all the period papers by Monday at 6 p.m., you'll get a bonus, a 25-point bonus. So that's basically like a 2.5% bump to your final grade. So you could earn your period paper bonus, but maybe not earn the participation bonus. You could earn the participation bonus, but not earn the period paper bonus if you end up passing in or submitting one or more of those late. You could earn them both if you are submitting everything on time, okay? So, and then I just have some advice about backing up your work, setting up this sort of schedule so you know that Mondays at 6 p.m. you have 2 basic deadlines. You have your period paper deadline for that week, and you also have a deadline for either posting your discussion question or posting a response to someone else's discussion prompt. Okay, so those in addition to completing the reading. Maybe if I'll just switch over here briefly. When you log in, your view will be a little bit different than mine, but you'll find our course. It will land on this sort of new and due, which will hopefully give you reminders. We're early, so it's not going to say anything is due yet. You can click on the current week, and that will show this this week, week 1. And it has a basic summary of what you're required to do. For this week, it's a little bit different. We haven't really officially started yet, but I'm asking you to explore the Blackboard course, the syllabus, assignments, and then prepare for next week, Monday, which from that point on, we'll have this sort of regular schedule of work where you have assigned reading. You'll write a period paper that synthesizes that reading and talks about it in terms of what did you learn, or what insight does it provide you on contemporary American culture. And then you'll have your discussion, either question that you'll post or you'll respond to another student's post. For this week, in terms of participation, what I'd like you to do is just post. My introduction is more focused a little bit on the introduction to the course, but write something up, or you could make a little video like this and link to it where you introduce yourself so we can start to get to know each other. I'm going to go to the next week just so you can kind of see, and if you want to preview the various different weeks, you can do that here. And so you can see for like the second week, it lists the assigned reading. It reminds you of what your class participation requirements are and that you have a period paper due. And it also lists what I'm calling optional work, which would be joining the Zoom session. And again, if you decide to, you do the asynchronous post, but then you decide, oh, I kind of would like to sit into class. You absolutely can. But if you just post a discussion question, then you know that it's required for you to attend the Zoom session. So just kind of keeping that class participation, the difference between asynchronous and synchronous, it's the Zoom session is always optional. But if you're only posting a discussion question for your class participation, then you want to make sure that you also then attend the session and participate in that discussion. In that sense, it's not optional because of your option that you've selected for class participation. So the other weeks go through in pretty much similar fashion, where you have required reading. You'll have your either synchronous or asynchronous class participation that you will complete in your period paper. And then when you open up each week's folder, you'll again see that message, and then have any linked Blackboard readings that aren't available through the bookstore or through Amazon or wherever you buy your class textbooks. You'll also be able to link directly to the discussion board, where you can see the discussion prompt that I posted and any discussion prompts or responses from any other student in the class. And then you also have a place here to post your period paper for that week. Okay, so each of these weeks will have all this information in it. And eventually, once we get to, we're in the current week, then there's the next week, and then I'll also have past weeks available in case you need to go back and make up any information. You'll also notice that this is the area where you can send me an email. This is where I prefer, if you need to send me an email, that you use Blackboard email. It helps keep everything separate, so your email doesn't get lost in my junk mail. So it's pretty easy. Just hit create message. If you haven't used this function in Blackboard, or if your other instructors don't use it. and then compose message. Just a little bit slow because I'm recording this, so my internet is not super fast. So, but you click 2 and you'll notice you always know who I am with the instructor. Or if you want to send an email to anyone else in the class and you're like, oh, I don't know their email address, you know that you can contact them all this way too. Okay, well, this is the basic introduction and information that I wanted to show you. I'll just go back to the syllabus here briefly. We made it to the end of kind of the course policy information, and then we go into the week by week, which is kind of basically replicated in those week by week folders. In the syllabus itself, I do have initially some discussion prompts and questions to consider so that you can get a sense of what it means to ask a question or to think about, kind of help shape for the first few weeks of our discussion. But after that, I kind of drop that away because I really want to kind of know what you all are thinking about and not shape our discussion as strongly as I am. And basically, I'm just trying to provide some models in these first couple of weeks. So again, you'll notice that the syllabus is reminding you, in addition to the reading that you'll be doing for that week. So on September 21st, you'll have read by Monday at 6 p.m. this material. You'll have posted your class participation, whether you plan to be asynchronous or synchronous, and you've posted your second period paper. Okay, now because of the add drop period, I do say that the first period paper here on the syllabus is due on September 14th, but I actually extended it, I believe, to the 18th, in case there's folks that, in terms of the add drop period, this gives them a little extra time to finish that work and still be eligible for the period paper and class participation bonus. So the deadlines for the first couple weeks are a little bit different. But after that, it's always Monday, 6 p.m. For you to have completed the reading, your class participation, initiate that, and your period paper. So again, I really look forward to meeting you all virtually in the near future. And if you have any questions, please post them to our message board in Blackboard. And okay, the discussion board here. And you'll notice I have this open message board here where you can just sort of post general questions, because chances are if you have that question, someone in class may also have that question. This is also where you can link to it directly from week 1, or you can go to the discussion board and find the week's discussion board this way and post your information there. So again, I look forward to meeting you virtually. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, either post something to the discussion board or send me an email through Blackboard. Have a great day.